Right. I actually filmed some of this video in January. I was too afraid to put it out. I just felt like the video wasn't right. It felt like it was bragging. I didn't know how to approach the situation, and maybe it was also shock that I bought a house in Iceland. This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Even if you tried, you wouldn't understand it. Maybe something's missing inside of you.
I'm crying because it's hard, but I just know that it's the right thing and that this chapter's just closed.
Hold up, baby. I can sit beside you while you're going on about your simple life. Nothing left you thinking that.
Welcome to my house. I bought it on my birthday, actually, in Iceland.
Your ego, your undying ego. Oh, look here he goes, stepping on toes with these.
I gotta show you something. These little cute little footprints. We have an Arctic fox that visits us on our land. This video, for the sake of getting everything correctly and said correctly, I'm gonna be chiming in between future me, which is now, and the past Sorelle from January.
I think there's deeper meaning.
I had absolutely zero intention. Universe, you're crazy. I had zero intention of actually living in Iceland again. Obviously, this is home, and it has been home for the last 4 years. I moved to Iceland 4 years ago, and then 2 years ago, I went on a wild adventure traveling through the entire world, building my YouTube and my online career. And it's been crazy. And the last plan that I had set for myself was living in the US. I started planning for my visa, but something came up. And I guess I kind of am responsible for that as well. I just need to go get one thing. 1 second.
Hi, this is Sorelle. Just letting you know about today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business. You probably know already about the great 24/7 customer service or designer templates of Squarespace. Here are some other features you might not know about. Simultaneous posting, auto-post your content to Twitter, Facebook, or Tumblr, traffic overview, gain insights into top traffic sources, products, device types, browsers, and operating systems by visit, built-in mobile websites, search engine optimization, inbuilt tools to help you rank higher in searches. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Sorelle to save 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website.
Got it. Oh, hi. I came to Iceland in December, about 5 weeks ago, with the intention of actually purchasing an investment property. I have been doing pretty well in my business, thank you. And I wanted to start my investing journey because I've always wanted to be an investor from the youngest age. The idea of buying properties, financial freedom, that kind of an idea has just been very appealing to me. On the day we were flying out of LA, we decided to write a house shopping list for this investment property that we wanted to buy. Let me read some of this to you. 14 points. Within 15 minutes drive of beep. It's one of my favorite locations in Iceland though. There's nothing particularly special around the surrounding areas, but there's something energetically that pulls me to this area. And we got that area! 2 to 3 bedroom, which initially I actually thought this was only 2 to 3 bedrooms, but it's 4 bedroom. Surprise! Just an extra spare bedroom. Fireplace. Yes, it's electric, and I kind of visualize like a real fireplace, but that's just a lesson to me to be very specific about the things that you want in life, because I mean, she delivered. Hot tub. Yup, under a certain amount of money. Good condition, just requires easy cosmetic touch-ups. An abundance of trees. Iceland doesn't actually have a lot of trees at all, so in my eyes, this is definitely an abundance of trees. Silent and away from the main road. Yup, nice wood. Ooh, nice wood. Preferably an A-frame home. Yup, accessible during winter with a small car. Yup, parking space for our Defender. So in summer, this is a parking space. You might not be able to tell right now, but it is. Try to tell me, kids, that manifestation doesn't work. I will not listen. No, but literally I have been testing this manifestation theory for such a long time now, like 12 years or something. And manifestation definitely isn't just like a, I want this, the end. Like you still have to take action, and the universe does require you to take certain steps, but it's like that belief and that focus of seeing what you want, and then it presents itself. The opportunities present themselves because you are focusing on that. You're seeking them out actively instead of focusing on things that might not be what you want, but you'll get more of that because you're focusing on that. So how can you have brain space to allow for the other stuff? But as I said, action is required. So this house, even though it was presented to me almost on a silver platter, there was definitely things I had to do, very uncomfortable thing, to prove that I really wanted this space. The reason why we had to give up LA is because this house actually ended up being double the price. And that's what I mean by being uncomfortable, and the universe was requiring me to stretch myself. And I just want to point out that even though this house looks freaking glamorous and I am still a tight ass. Wealth building is so important to me, and I do not like to splurge on things that are dumb. This house is a lot less than what it looks like. And this is what happens when you are a tight ass. You seek out opportunities that are really great. Whatever price tag you might have on this house is probably incorrect, because universe loves me. The dream the little girl had when she was young of having all these things is coming to fruition. I'm living my dream, and it's weird that I'm living my dream. You always imagine that you're living a dream, but not that it's gonna happen, but it's happening. And that is, oh my God, it's so weird. There's something about this country that inspires me, that pulls me, that brings the best out of me, that allows me to, I don't even know, but I feel like Leon and I are meant to be here. It's a diversion, but I think the universe gave this to us and made us stay here because I think we're meant to stay here. And reading the universal omens, I'm in tune. I've tried to get in tune with the universe for a few years now, and I was just like, I understand. To have a house of your own, I can't even yet explain what that feels like. I come from a travel background, travel family background, so my entire family just travels. We have moved houses more than I can count. We have moved schools, jobs, everything. I have moved around so much. The idea of something that is mine, it took me until last week to actually understand that I can do whatever I want to this space. Oh, by the way, yesterday I paid off the full amount. So January 14, I paid 50%, and yesterday I paid the remaining amount. So it's like properly mine.
House dance, house dance, house dance.
And I can do whatever I want. That's why I've started decorating, but I'm not going to show you until the finished product is here because I'm so excited for it. Oh my God. As we're learning about Iceland and what is needed and what the world needs, I'm getting pulled towards like agriculture and planting trees, and I think this house isn't just for us. This is going to be more of a spiritual hub of some sort, or an agricultural house where you can learn to plant your own food and grow your own food and take care of animals and learn to live in harmony with nature. There's something brewing, and I don't know what it is yet, but we're just exploring the options, and I'm sure something will present itself to us. Am I petrified of all of this that's happening? Actually, yes, but I think that the right decisions in life have to have a degree of fear and excitement, and this is exactly what this has. I'm so far away from family. I just transferred the biggest payment deposit of my entire life. I don't know what's going on, but it just, again, feels right. So I'm just like, I trust you, whatever you have in mind for me, let's freaking do this. And the unknown, I think the unknown creates amazing stories. It keeps us feeling alive. I think if we pre-plan our lives too much, we lose the magic and we lose the capacity to have space for magic to enter. This is definitely magic. The way that this came into my life, into our lives, Leon and I's life. Yesterday we were having dinner for my birthday. I just arrived, I sat down and I started bawling my eyes, and my whole life flashed in front of my eyes for everything that I've had to do in my life to get to the point where I'm here. And I don't know what the future holds, but just knowing the sacrifices I had to make in the past, the heartbreak, the pivotal changes, making decisions based on my gut feel, people thinking that I'm wild and weird and crazy. I just had to follow that voice, because if I don't, I know that I'm disowning and pushing aside my soul. And that is the most important thing that you have to nurture, because your soul is, it just wants to express itself. And I think freedom of choice and the ability to change drastically, even if last week you decided that that is completely what you didn't want, and then next week you decide that actually that is exactly what you want. We have to have the freedom to make giant changes, because you'll know what is right in the moment, because your heart will tell you. And I just realized that when I was young, all I wanted to do for 6 years before I started YouTube, my voice inside of my head just said, do YouTube, do YouTube, do YouTube. And I resisted for so long until I finally gave in, and wow, I guess I'm reaping the rewards of following my intuition. Damn. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it like a lot. I'm excited to take you on this journey. 2020 is off to a bang. It's off to a wild start. Let's keep it flowing. Let's do good in the world. Let's help each other out, lift each other up. There's enough for everyone. Abundance, abundance, abundance. And I want you to have all of this. I want you to have a dream life too. So I'm going to do everything in my power to help you have this kind of a life too. Always have, always will. I think my thought process at the time was about abundance, as in have everything you want, have large things. And this house is really big. The way that I imagine my actual house one day to be was a small shack. I like small spaces, and this is huge. And that was really uncomfortable for me as well, to live in a bigger house, even though for some people this is not big. I imagine my space to be tiny. I think where I was coming from this, and it looks like it is like abundance, have as more. But now with what is happening in the world, I'm rewiring my brain to see abundance as a completely different thing, a much better version. It's not about more things, it's about more simplicity, more living locally, more living in harmony with nature, because it's so important that we do that. Absolutely less travel, being happy to be in one space and developing your skills and your community where you are, because that is what's going to help the world to thrive. So that's where I'm coming from now, a few months later after watching this video. And next time I'll do a tour inside and show you everything that I have planned for the house and how it's gonna come to life, because this is a skeleton that you've been seeing in the video, and it's absolutely not the way that I wanted it to be decorated. It came with furniture, but it's super exciting. So make sure you subscribe, like. I'm not sure if anyone's watching at the end of this video still. If you are, drop a comment down below. Where the sun shines, all is well. An enormous amount of thanks needs to go out to our friend Benjamin, who actually helped us to arrange everything. And it's really so strongly because of his connection that we are here in this house. Benjamin, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nurture those connections, everybody, because connections is light. Connections is where beautiful things can manifest. Doing things by yourself is, one, hard, two, extremely boring, three, supporting and uplifting each other and having community is, I've now learnt, it took me a while, but it's one of the most important things. It's so nice being able to help each other out. My heart, mine. That's it. Here's my Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to see more. And until next time, boys, girls, gents, everybody in between.